Hey, how y'all doing? I'm in the library, so I don't want to be too loud, but I wanted to share just reassurance on doing your best. You know, a lot of the times whenever spirit tells us to do something, because we don't see the plan, because we don't have the proof or the evidence, because we can't see it happening, we don't believe it can happen. And I'm here to share and remind you that it will happen. Literally today, I wanted to go to check something out, but it was out of state. I didn't have a ride or anything, so I'm like, I'm gonna just use public transportation. Did I have a plan on what transportation I was gonna pick? No, but I knew I was gonna get there. So when it came down to it, I was like, oh, you know what? Let me ask my mom. She gonna drop me up out the bus close to the crib. Then she gonna go work. Boom. So I'm sitting there at the bus stop, and this is my first time ever using public transportation. See 111 on the timer. My first time using public transportation outside of college. So I was very nervous. Like, I remember I barely slept today. Like, I was real nervous. So then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just do it. Because Spirit has already shown me an example that no matter what happened in my life, I'm always covered. I'm always protected. I'm always taken care of. You know what I'm saying? Just from me almost getting unalived, I have a story time on that. So click the video right here if you want to hear about it. But ever since I experienced that, I'm aware that I'm always taken care of. It's gonna get handled, and I'm just gonna let God handle it. I'm gonna let my spirit guides handle it, and it's always handled. So I get to the bus stop and I missed the first bus, so I started panicking. I'm like, no, what's going on? And then I asked the stranger, I'm like, did I do it right? Like, I'm confused. Like, what's going on? Like, turns out I didn't tell the bus driver, like, ahead of time. I didn't know you were supposed to wave, like, way before they hit the bus. I wasn't thinking, okay? I did it the second time, and I truly feel like it was spirit. I truly feel like it was meant to be that way. The first bus driver didn't even pay me no mind. He drove right past me. I'm like, okay. And it says on the schedule, another bus is gonna come 5 minutes after that. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just wait the 5 minutes to see what I'm gonna do. I see the bus. I was waving that bus down, jumping and everything, like, hey. Okay. So I get on the bus, and you can pay with Apple Pay. So I'm like, okay, boom, Apple Pay. And then I told him, I want to go here. And he was like, that's $12. I was like, $12? I was like, fine. Still did the Apple Pay. So I'm sitting down, and I'm like, looking at my Apple Pay. I'm like, my money did not budge. I ain't gonna say nothing. So I didn't say anything. I'm like, see, Spirit got me covered, because I didn't have $12 on my Apple Pay. I did not. Barely even had 10, but I was like, I'm still gonna make it work. I'm gonna make something shake. Then boom, I go to the bus stop. I'm in the bus, I'm chilling, right? And then I asked the man, like, is it possible? Because Google Maps, like, it was like, I guess I missed the second bus that I was supposed to, like, go to. So, like, I was supposed to go to that city at, like, a certain amount of time. I was supposed to go at noon today, and it said since I skipped the second bus, now it's gonna make me get there at 1. And I'm like, no, I can't do that. So I'm like, let me just search up a different, like, thing that Google Maps has for me. So I asked the guy, I'm like, can you just drop me off at, like, a further stop? He didn't say anything. I was just like, I'm taking that as a yes. And yeah, he dropped me off at the second stop, but he, like, made sure I went to that stop. Like, he was like, this is your stop, by the way. I'm like, thank you. And then I get to the second stop, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, it was overwhelming, because now I'm at the second stop. The schedule changed again. So I'm like, what am I gonna do? But I was like, you know what? let me just ask this lady behind me if she can help me. And I asked for help. She's like, where are you trying to go? I was like, this stop. She's like, no, but like, where are you actually trying to go? I'm like, I'm trying to go here. She was like, you know what? Don't do that. Because I'm like, she was like, do not use Google Maps. I'm like, okay, I won't. And then she was like, you know what? I don't really know how to help you, and my bus is coming, so go inside here and they're supposed to help you. I'm like, okay. So boom, I go inside there, and the lady at the kiosk, she was helping me, but I could tell she didn't really know what she was doing. So I'm like, okay. But I sat across from this lady. She looked like she knew what she was doing. Like, just sitting there listening to her music. I'm like, yeah, she knows a lot about the buses. So I asked her, right? And then she literally sat me down. She made sure she like checked the times and everything. I was like, hey, can you help me with this? She's like, yeah, sure, what's up? I was like, I'm supposed to go here. I'm supposed to go to B, but this, like, Google Maps is taking me here and here. And she was like, why is it taking you here and here? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, well, what do you need to get there for? No, she was saying, what time do you need to get there? I'm like, I need to be there by noon. She's like, yeah, okay. So she's like, how about this? You take this, and it'll take you there. You'll be there by noon. I'm like, bet. So I take her advice on the first place to go to, right? But I peep game, like, I'm sitting at the bus stop, and I'm like, it's been 10 minutes. And mind you, it's cold as fuck outside. I had no gloves. This is what I'm wearing, right? It was cold for me, right? So I was like, something ain't right. I go to Google Maps, and I'm like, it says that the next bus is coming in an hour. Who gonna stay there for an hour? Not me. So I went back inside. No, I stood out there, right? And I'm like, nah, I'm getting a different bus. So I see a different bus that's gonna take me to another spot that I need to go to. The advice, she said, take this bus to go here. But the bus she told me, it was coming in an hour. So I'm like, okay, let me use a different bus to go to the place she said. So I did that. And the place that she said, it worked. So, and the bus that I used was coming in like 2 minutes. And like, it was kind of funny because I waved the fuck out of that bus driver so much. He looked at me like, I'm gonna put that meme, but that's basically the look. He's like, he was already gonna stop anyway because other people at the bus stop, but I didn't know that because I was so cold. I just wanted to leave. But anywho, I get on that bus. I was praying to spirit. I was praying to God, my spirit guides, my ancestors, all they were helping me. And I'm like, thank you so much for figuring out what I should do and what my next steps should be. Like, thank you so much. Like, it's showing so much gratitude. And then they were basically like, no, the ride was like an hour long. So within that 1 hour, I warmed up. Like, I was so cold, like so cold, like, oh my gosh, because of the septum ring, like, it gets really, really, really cold. If it's hot outside, it gets hot. If it's cold, it turns to ice. So my nose was running, and I was like, I don't know, but, and then I was like trying to figure that out, and I was sitting at the bus. I'm like, okay, when I get to the spot, where am I gonna go next? I'm like, okay, I'm at the next stop now. I'm walking to the next bus stop I need to go to, but I realized that bus stop was gonna be too late. And mind you, I'm using Google Maps, and I don't know, for me though, it didn't tell me the prices. So each time I did it, I was like, you know what, let me put my human nature to the side and just trust spirit wholeheartedly. So I go to the second place, and turns out it's a rail. I'm like, okay, sure, why not? So I go to the rail, and I'm like, okay. I missed the same rail twice. Not once, but twice. I missed it twice. And the second time I missed it, the first time I missed it was because I was walking there. I'm like, all right, that ain't my fault. The second time I missed it, I walked in there. I'm like, I feel like this is not the one for me. I walked out and then I checked. It was the one for me. But when I walked in that section of the rail, I felt really uneasy. So I just left. I'm glad I did. When I got into the rail that I needed to get into, it was just really inspiring me because literally I was sitting on like the left side of the rail, and on the right side were all younger women. Like, they were all traveling by themselves on the rail, and that inspired me so much because when I tell you, I was literally so nervous when I woke up today because even though I put my whole faith into spirit, I was still nervous. Like, I was still like, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, because my family was like, that's unsafe, this is crazy, this and this and that. And I decided, I'm gonna just listen to myself. I'm gonna support myself because I know what that city has in store for me. So I'm gonna just listen to what spirit is guiding me to do. So yeah, so I'm in the rail, and mind you, the whole time I'm traveling, I don't touch my phone. Like, I think I text like a few people, and I tried to get back on here to reply to comments, but I didn't want to. I just wanted to relax and like ground myself, you know? So I'm doing that, and then I realized like, wow, like I'm doing this. Like, this whole weekend I was like worried about it, stressing myself out, but while I'm doing it, it's with ease, right? Up until soon. The rail takes me to a station, and I've been to the station before, but I never really planned to get a ticket at that station. When I used that station, I already previously booked tickets and stuff like that. And I was really nervous to use the public transportation because I remember when I went to college and I used public transportation to go back home, I remember one of the buses came late because something happened, you know, life happened. And when that happened, it caused me to miss the second bus. And when I missed the second bus, I started crying because that second bus was like, it's like the first bus, it was a short distance. The first and second bus, it was a short distance. The second to third bus, yeah, that was a heavy distance. I was supposed to be in that second bus for like a few hours. So really, really, it made me sad. And in that experience, like, I called my mom and my dad. I was crying and stuff like that. But my mom's like, you know what? Just take a ticket to this place so you can sleep over your cousin's house. I was like, okay. And I did that. Spirit literally provided. Everything was figured out. But even though that caused me to have a fear of public transportation, I still knew in the back of my head, Spirit has me no matter what. No matter what. So yeah, going back to it, the rail takes me to a station, and in the station, like, there's so much information. Like, Google Maps was not helping me because it was within a station. I had to go to the station and buy the ticket. I didn't have to walk anywhere. I didn't have to wait for something to arrive. No, I had to pick which one I wanted within the station, so Google Maps couldn't help me. And then I tried to use Google Maps, and it told me to get this ticket to this place, but the ticket was mad expensive. Like, it was $200, and I was like, be for real. So I'm over here like trying not to cry because I missed like 3 potential rides that I could have taken. So I'm like, you know what? I think this is it. I think I just gotta call my parents and go home. But I'm like, no, I'm not gonna give up. I did not wake up at 5 a.m., skipped eating, and used public transportation for 5 hours just to turn back. I refused. I was so stubborn. I'm like, no. So what I did, I'm like, you know what? Let me just call my friend. So I called my friend, right? And I'm like, explaining to her, I'm like, yo, and I'm like, my voice is shaking. I'm trying not to cry. I'm like, yo, I need some money. I'll pay you back when the time comes. When I get my abundance, I'll pay you back. This is the first time I asked her for money. Like, that's my dog for real. Like, she's truly God sent for real when I think about how much she's helped me within my lifetime and how much I helped her as well. Like, it's truly a genuine friendship, and I'm glad for that. So I asked her for the money, and thank God she said yeah. So she gave me the money, and originally I was going to use that money to buy one ticket for something mad expensive, right? But I was like, nah. I'm like, nah, I'm not going to do all that. So I try to go to one line and ask the lady for help. I'm like, I'm trying to get to A to B. How would I do that? And what are the times? Because the times weren't listed on when you want to buy it. And she was like, it's on the schedule. I'm like, yeah, I know. I need help to explain it. Can you explain it to me? It's on the schedule. No. While you looking, I can check somebody else. I'm like, okay. So I went to another lady. I tried to read it for myself, but I'm like, I don't get this. So I went to a second thing, and she was like, you need to go to that place. I'm like, yeah, I went there, but they don't want to help me. Like, they were very rude. They did not want to help me. She was like, well, you better tell them that's their job. I was like, but she was very helpful. She was very sweet. Like, that lady was super nice. And then I went to the same place, but a different lady checked me out. She's like, I think she was like Trinidadian or Jamaican. I can't tell the difference. I'm sorry. I can't tell the difference between the accents. I really can't. Same with people that are Trini, Jamaican, and Bohemian. There you go. I can't tell the difference. I'm sorry. Okay? All three of them are beautiful accents, alright? But I knew she was Caribbean. She was like, you trying to go here, then why are you trying to get a ticket to go there? I'm like, well, Google Maps told me. She's like, stop using that. I'm like, 3 people told me to stop using Google Maps. Let me listen. So I stopped using it. So she was like, you need to go here to here. And it was just 2 trains. And I was like, okay, bet. Like, how much is it? She said 23. I'm like, okay, bet. She was like, it leaves in 2 minutes. I'm like, I hurried up, get it. I ran so fast. I was running. She said, it's at this section, go there, go that. I'm like, okay, bet. I'm running while I'm being on the phone with my friend. I'm out of breath. I got this big coat on. I got my big bag on my shoulder, but I still ran. And I'm like, where is it? I turned my head. The train literally comes. I'm like, wow, perfect timing. So I get on the train, and immediately I just lay down, like, like I can finally breathe. And I was just thinking, I'm like, now I can relax, but I feel like I still couldn't. Like, when I went on the first train, I was like, this is a vibe. Then I went to the second train. I'm like, this is a vibe. Oh, I forgot to mention, when I was at the station, right, something told me, just call the place that you're trying to go to. Like, just call the people for the appointment. Just call them and let them know, can you meet up at a later time today? So I did. I'm like, hey, bro, can we schedule for different times? And she was like, well, how does 3 o'clock sound? I'm like, that is great. I can make it to 3. Boom. So I got there. And I'm just like thinking about everything, and I'm like, wow. And then I finally make it to the destination. Like, I finally make it to the city, but the city is so big. The city that I need is within that city. I was like, okay, I could take a bus. I'm like, wait a minute, let me just take a lift. So I took a lift. But when I took that lift, the driver, he was so chill. Like, he was so wise and beyond his years, and he had like a very chill conversation. It was it was a vibe, and it truly calmed me down, because the entire day everything was so hectic, and at this point I still didn't eat. I still didn't do anything like that. It was just an experience. And I wanted to share this with you guys, because I want to let you know that life happens for you, not to you. Everything happens for a reason. If Spirit is telling you, do this one thing, You gotta follow by trust, not by sight. Just because you don't think anything is going on, you really don't know. You really don't know. Spirit really helped in my day today. Spirit truly helped today, because when I think about it, me missing that first bus gave me a bus driver that was chill and nice and sweet. I was asking questions on how the transportation worked. He answered them. He helped me. And that made me get to meet the lady that helped me, and then that other lady that helped me, then that man that helped me. All of this led to me being covered. You might not know how you're going to be covered. You might not know how things might look for you, but you have to understand that you're always covered. Life happens for you, not to you. And I'm saying this, and the whole time I was still nervous. I was still scared. I was still uncertain. But I knew I have to control the things I need to control, and the things I cannot control, I give it up to God. Simple as that. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. And just know that Spirit has you covered. And don't ever feel like you can't do something because, oh, you don't have. I literally did all of that with less than $40. And I still have money remaining from that. I literally still do. So don't ever feel like, oh, it's not enough, or this can't be right, or don't let doubt control what you want in life. Everything that you want in life is already yours. You just have to claim it. You just have to do the work. Spirit and God already did 50%. You just got to put your 50% with trusting them and doing what you have to do. So within that, stay consistent, stay beautiful, and stay trusting, and stay grounded. Reflection. Thanks for having time to talk to another optimist. I'm out.